Welcome back to Better Developer Docs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up SSH access to your WordPress site on Bluehost. This would also apply to any site you had, any non-WordPress site you had on the site as well. And the short version is that by using your terminal and your Bluehost account or other hosting account, you can gather the necessary details um, in order to access this via SSH. Um, let's get into it. So the first reason, or the first thing I want to talk about, is why you would want to do this. You're probably only doing this if you're a developer. If you're a CMS user of the of WordPress, you're probably not required to do this. There are other ways to do the things with which you might want to do without using SSH. But yeah, every now and then you might want to do this, or at least you might want to know that you can do this just in case. So the reasons why I use it, I'm a developer, so sometimes I work with WordPress alongside Git, which is a version control software. So if I'm tracking the changes in a particular theme that I'm building, or a plugin, then I will often release changes to the theme or plugin via Git, as opposed to reinstalling the plugin or theme. And you can do that with SSH from your computer. The other reason you might want to do this is if you've been hacked, or you've got a bug or some other error that won't allow you to access your CMS, and you don't have access to your cPanel for some reason. So you could use these things to get into the WordPress file system, in order to uninstall a plugin or a theme, or fix any hack or anything like that. You can also do this to download really large files via a URL by zipping a file and therefore creating a URL to it within your site, with which you can access and download. So sometimes that's useful. But yeah, that's why we would want to do it. Now let's have a look at how we can set up SSH access. So let's go through that process. Now, the first thing to wonder about is if you're on a Mac or a Windows computer. If you're on a Mac, then you can use Terminal, aka command line, to to follow these steps. And you can find that by going to your applications, going to utilities, and terminals just there. So you can double click that. Mine's already open, so I won't bother. If you're on a Windows machine, then you're going to have to use something called OpenSSH, which is the Windows way of doing this. So you can click this link here and go and get everything you need in order to follow this set of instructions from a Windows-based computer. So the first thing we're going to do is just copy this, and we're going to go over to Terminal, and we're actually going to paste this in and hit enter, and then it's going to ask us which file we want to create this in. And because this is a test, a demonstration, I'm going to change the name of this to something else. I'm going to write IDRSA demo. And I'm going to say you can enter a passphrase here, but I don't. And it just depends on your level of security that you require. Most people don't need to do this, but if you're It maybe if you're sharing a computer with someone else, or you're worried that your computer might get hacked, then you could do add a password. But usually I just hit enter and then enter again, and that will confirm that there is actually no password associated with this SSH key. So what we've just done by running this command here is we've generated an SSH key, which is basically, or keys, plural, which is basically two keys, a public and a private. And one lives on your machine, and the other lives wherever you're trying to access, i.e. the public one and the private one. Those two match up, and if there isn't a match, then you can't access it. If there is, then you can, which is how SSH works at a high level. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add these keys to our Bluehost account. And Bluehost is a particular hosting service that I use for WordPress sites. However, you might have um, a different host like GoDaddy, or what's another one, SiteGround, or WordPress.com or something like that. So at a high level, if you're not using Bluehost, at a high level, these instructions will still remain the same, but you will just need to find the particular relevant sections in this tutorial in your own host's dashboard instead of the Bluehost one. If you are on Bluehost, then you can more or less just follow the instructions in this video to a T, and you'll be golden. So let's go over to our Bluehost account. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to advanced. And advanced in Bluehost just means your cPanel. You will probably have a cPanel in your own host if you're not using Bluehost. So in that case, just go and search for cPanel in your hosting dashboard. And then I'm going to scroll down to SSH access, which is here. I'm just going to click manage SSH keys. And you have the option to generate or import. In this particular process, I've already generated my SSH keys over here on my local computer. So that's actually following the import process. So I'm going to click import, and then I'm going to enter the name that I typed in. Actually, just going to paste it just to make sure that I don't make any typos. And then it's going to ask you to paste the private key for this SSH key generation process here, and then enter the passphrase, and then paste the public key. So we're going to get all of those things from our terminal, and there's some particular commands that we're going to need to use. So I'm going to go back to my command line, and I'm going to grab this command. If you're creating a key generation process for the first time, you don't need to alter this command. You just need to copy it, paste it into your terminal, and hit enter. However, because I'm doing a demo, I'm going to enter the name of the demo key. So I'm going to do that, and then it's going to present that to us here, and we're going to have to select and copy all of that, and then we're going to go back and we're going to add this in as the public key. This is the public version, and then we're going to go back and get the private one with this particular command. And again, if you're creating this for the first time, then you don't need to change your name. However, I do, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm actually going to grab all of this. I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go back here and paste that into the private key area. The passphrase in this particular case is nothing, because when we um, created the set of keys, we didn't enter a passphrase, right? And so if you also didn't enter a passphrase, then you should leave this empty. If you did enter a passphrase, then you need to enter that passphrase here. So we're gonna hit import, and so we can see some success um, messages from Bluehost here. And then what we need to do is very important. There's an important next step that will, if you don't do this, your SSH keys will not work. So in Bluehost, you actually have to authorize these keys even after you've created them. So go back to this page and go to the the one you just created, and you'll see it's not authorized, whereas these other ones are. So manage that, click authorize, and then go back, and that should be it for that one. Um, okay, so now you've actually done basically everything you need in order to use these. You just need to go back to your terminal and form um, the correct text in order to enter in um, to use these. So go down the bottom of this page here, and there's actually going to be a link to this URL in the description below. This is the article with which this video is based on. So copy that, go back to your terminal, and we're going to paste that in, but we're not going to hit enter just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to need to go and get the IP address, right, and the username for our account. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to go back to so I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to go back to advanced, and this is the page with which we are going to be able to view our information. So here's my username. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to paste that, right? And then I'm going to delete the IP address string. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to copy this, which is the IP address of my particular server. And I'm going to go back here and do that. And then I'm going to hit enter, right? Right, so just going to write yes for all of these. And it's telling us that it added this particular ID address. And then it's asking for a password, but there is no password, so I'm just going to hit enter. Sorry. So you do actually have to enter a password, but that password um, is not the password or lack thereof that you just created. It's actually the password um, for your Bluehost account or your other hosting. If you're using another host, then it's the password for that particular host. So what I'm going to do now is we've actually been successful, and we can tell because we're now inside of the file manager. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all the files here, and it's going to tell me all the files that I have um, in my in my file manager. And this is basically the same list as if I would as if I would view this on the file manager here, these are all the same thing. So you can see that SSH is just giving us an alternative way to access these files. And so you could then use command line to navigate around the site as you want and do whatever you want. So yeah, that's basically it. In the I'm gonna make a playlist with all of these Bluehost related videos in one place or one playlist. And so if you're a developer or if you're interested in learning how to use Bluehost to an advanced degree, hit the card here in the top to view that playlist and all the other videos that I'm going to create based on having a Bluehost account, like using Gmail to manage your emails, how to actually let's actually have a look at the list of things that I'm going to do, because I'm going to do quite a lot of different videos, and you can see them. Yeah, so I'm going to do videos about like how to set up your WordPress site on Bluehost, how to assign a domain, how you know when to actually upgrade to a dedicated server, how to use Gmail with your Bluehost webmail, lots of different topics. I'm also going to do another video which is comparing all the different Bluehost accounts, and therefore which one you should choose based on your budget and your skill level with server admin. So I'll put a card up to that above. And yeah, thanks guys. Catch you in the next one.